Imagine this. Right now, hidden beneath your skin are billions of cells holding enough stored energy to keep you alive for weeks. But here's the strange part. Most of those cells are locked. Your body knows exactly where the energy is. Yet it refuses to use it. Why? And what if I told you that one of the simplest activities humans can do, something so easy most people underestimate it, can unlock those energy stores and completely change how those cells behave? Not running. Not HIIT. Not some expensive fat-burning supplement. Walking. And the weirdest part? The change starts long before you burn a meaningful number of calories. In fact, something fascinating begins happening inside your fat tissue almost immediately after you start moving. Your fat cells start receiving messages. Chemical instructions. Signals that tell them, "Get ready. Energy is needed." Most people think fat loss is simple. Burn calories. Lose fat. But that's not actually how your body works. Your fat cells are not passive storage bags. They're more like highly intelligent warehouses. They communicate with your brain. They release hormones. They decide when energy can leave and when it has to stay locked away. And sometimes, they refuse to cooperate. That's why two people can burn the same calories and get very different results. So, what exactly convinces a fat cell to open its doors? What signal tells billions of cells spread throughout your body that it's finally safe to release stored energy? The answer is surprisingly elegant. And once you understand it, you'll never think about walking the same way again. Because every step you take triggers a chain reaction that reaches deep into your biology. A reaction involving adrenaline, blood flow, mitochondria, fat-burning enzymes, and even genes inside your cells. By the end of this video, you'll understand why walking isn't just exercise. It's a conversation with your metabolism. And your fat cells are listening. But before we see what happens when you walk, we need to understand what these cells are actually doing all day long. Because the truth about fat cells is very different from what most people have been told. Most people picture fat cells as lazy blobs sitting under the skin. Nothing could be further from reality. Your body contains tens of billions of these cells. And every single one is active. They're constantly monitoring hormones, responding to nutrients, communicating with organs, making decisions about whether energy should be stored or released. Think of each fat cell as a tiny bank vault. Inside that vault are triglycerides, packed bundles of stored energy. The catch: the vault doesn't open just because you want it to. Your body needs a reason, a signal, a biological permission slip. And that's where walking changes everything. The moment you begin moving, your body starts preparing for action. Your heart beats faster. Blood begins flowing more rapidly. Your nervous system wakes up. And then something remarkable happens. Your body starts sending chemical messengers directly toward your fat cells. These messengers arrive carrying a very specific instruction. We need fuel. This is where the story gets interesting. Because your fat cells don't immediately release their energy. At first, they're cautious. They listen. They evaluate. They wait. Then, once the signal becomes strong enough, they begin unlocking their reserves. And what happens next is the closest thing your body has to opening a hidden energy pipeline. Fat that has been sitting quietly inside cells begins breaking apart. Molecules start leaving storage. The bloodstream becomes a transportation network. Muscles begin receiving fuel. And tiny power plants inside those muscles suddenly become incredibly busy. But here's the twist most people never hear. The biggest benefit isn't the fat you burn today. It's what happens to those cells tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. Because every walk teaches your fat cells a lesson that slowly rewires how they behave. The more consistently you walk, the more responsive those cells become. The easier they release energy, the less inflammatory they become, and the healthier your metabolism gets. In other words, you're not just burning fat, you're training fat, and that distinction changes everything. So, do you think fat cells are just stubborn fat? Think again. Every step you take is teaching your body to use energy smarter. What surprised you most about fat cells? Drop it in the comments, and subscribe for the next video where we uncover new fact about your body. Now take a walk. Not because you hate your body, but because your body is waiting for the signal.